Well, it's an understatement to say that the 2016 elections were very interesting in many different ways. One of the big policy issues between the presidential candidates, candidates for governor, and candidates for the U.S. Senate was job creation. It was a big issue in the past election, and it's been an issue in elections for many years. So it was interesting to see the results of the election and think about some of the things that could possibly be coming in terms of job creation, especially in the skilled trades jobs, particularly in manufacturing, construction, and automotive service. It seems now that we're getting some kind of announcement out of the manufacturing sector just about every day lately. It started with Carrier, the big news that they were going to retain some of the jobs that they were sending to, I believe, Mexico. And then in the automotive manufacturing, GM and Ford made big announcements, as well as Apple, saying that they were going to plan a factory to start making the iPhone in the United States again. In the construction industry, we have what I would call public construction or infrastructure, which the government spends money on. And the new president is talking about spending $1 trillion to fix the roads and bridges, and I've probably heard somebody say we have crumbling roads and bridges. Then there's also residential construction, home building, and commercial construction, which is the building of hotels and office buildings and things like that. And lastly, we have the automotive service industry, which is automotive service in the sense of retail, car repairs, truck repairs, body shops, painting, diesel mechanics, you name it. So the question here is, if these jobs are going to be created, do we currently have enough skilled workers to do these jobs, and will we have enough skilled workers in the future for the jobs that are going to be created? So if we were to ask the question today, do we have the skills to fill these types of jobs in the skilled trades? In the early part of 2017, as it stands, the answer today is no. So there was a study done in July of 2016 by the Labor Department, U.S. Labor Department, that found that there was 5.8 million job openings in the United States. And the reason for a lot of these job openings was a skills gap. And about 30 to 35% of the jobs were in the skilled trades. Now, it wasn't all 5.8 million. Some of the other gaps exist in some really high-level IT jobs, cybersecurity, in the medical industry. There's quite a few open too. So today we have 4.7% unemployment in the United States. So it seems that's not too bad of a number traditionally, but the gap here could potentially widen with some of these skilled trades jobs. And we need to think about doing some things to close the gap and not allow it to widen. The evidence that some action needs to be taken is fairly clear. A survey done by the manufacturing industry in 2015 showed that there's an expectation that there'll be 2 million jobs needing to be filled over the next decade, and if the recent news is any indication, it could go higher than that. So there's plenty of skilled jobs within a factory. It's not limited to one. It's not just assembler. It's forklift operator, forklift repair, robotics machine repair. You can just go on down the line with a list of skilled trades that are needed to make the factory run. And out of the three industries that we're focusing on here, the bulk of the jobs needing to be filled will end up in the manufacturing sector. In the automotive industry, we can see here that there's been a study that says that by 2020 there's going to be a gain of about 200,000 jobs. And that number might be a little light. It could be significantly higher than that based on the fact that retail automotive sales, cars and light trucks, have grown steadily for 5 years, and in 2016 hit a record of 17.55 million sales. And that doesn't really say anything about the sales of commercial trucks, bus industry, diesel trucks for the trucking industry, and all of these need to have those skilled labor jobs filled. We can see the same thing and trend here in the construction industry. Pretty significant jump if the number of unfilled jobs has nearly doubled in the past 2 years. So there's opportunity there to start to help some people get trained to find some good paying jobs within the construction industry. So how did we get here? What caused this gap in skilled trades? Well, it's not just one thing. It was a confluence of different factors over time. And one was trade deals, maybe like NAFTA, that outsourced manufacturing to other countries. And with that, people stopped pursuing the skilled trades jobs because of a rise in service industry jobs. And we have 4.7% unemployment. And if you look at the unemployment report, every time it comes out recently, the bulk of the jobs that are being created are in service industries, which is maybe like working at Best Buy or restaurant type jobs and things like that. The other factor is the decline in high school trade programs due to expense and liability risk, that many high schools gave up on their trade programs for those reasons, and instead of having a trade program at every high school in your county, now there's just a specific high school for trades that takes on all that risk and cost. And there still are programs, but there's just less of them. Another consideration here is the age factor, and this speaks to the current workforce of skilled laborers in the industries we're discussing here. And you can see a little bit by this chart here, which was from 2014, that a big majority of skilled labor that exists in the country now is somewhere between the ages of 45 and 65. So within the next couple of decades, these people will be retiring, and we'll have to train some skilled workers to replace them as well. I would say the solution to the gap in skilled trades is rooted in workforce education and adult education. So there is some good news here. And it's going to take a little work, and we have to get the public and private sectors together to work on this. The big part of it is making people aware that these jobs are out there and that they pay well, and renewing the interest in skilled trades that existed in prior decades. The other thing that we need to do is talk to our young adults, and this would include school guidance counselors in high school and industry coming in and working with schools to make sure that they can get this kind of training when they enter the workforce, or have it available as they go into post-secondary school, whether it be trade school or community college program. Thirdly, we could retrain the unemployed workers and make these skilled trade jobs available to them so they can re-enter the workforce. And lastly, the stigma that may surround being a factory worker or a mechanic or a carpenter, we need to work hard to remove that and let skilled trade workers or potential skilled trade workers know that there is also a career path that comes with skilled trades. In terms of awareness, we need to do some more things like Skills USA, that's pictured here in the center, which is a national competition that highlights just about every skilled trade. It's a huge competition, and here we see Mike Rowe from TV's 30 Jobs, who is an advocate of the skilled trades, doing a PSA and supporting the competition. And it gives trade students from high school trade programs, community college trade programs, and trade schools a chance to compete and be recognized for their skill and develop a sense of pride. We also need to make sure that our young people are aware of public business private partnerships like the Ford Asset Program, pictured on the left, that partners with community colleges for automotive education. They should be made aware that this is something that's available to them. And lastly, government can help to incentivize the manufacturing industry and labor unions to revive many of the lost apprenticeship programs and to even expand them as we go forward with this need for skilled trades. We need to make sure that federal and state programs such as the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act remain well funded in order to get people that are unemployed a chance at the trade skills education that they would need to re-enter the workforce and have a chance at a renewed opportunity. And the graphic in the upper left here is a good example of how Toyota is showing a service technician trainee in their T10 trade school program the possible path and progression through other opportunities in the automotive industry as they grow and may choose to do so. In conclusion, I'm very optimistic that there's going to be a resurgence of interest in training for these trade skill jobs, and that workforce education and adult education are going to help to close that gap. So they will come to the rescue in terms of education and be able to get some people trained in trade skills that they never had thought about in the past, resulting in jobs and careers that can be very fulfilling and pay very well and provide a good living for younger people and their families.